Here we have the 1954 Jaguar D-Type. Had a few incarnations over the years. A model variant of this won Le Mans 24 hours, and this actual car won the Reims 12-hour race. It entered Le Mans, but it had fuel difficulties. But what a beautiful looking car. There's no denying that it had a unique look. And this model does it justice. And the start of that iconic front from Jaguar. So I think I'll stand back and tell you a little about the car. Well, it was designed for Le Mans in 1954, and it competed between 54 and 57. Had a straight 6 XK engine. It was quite aerodynamic for its time. What else can I say about it? There's a 3.4 litre, and it was fairly successful in races. Its competition history was it entered Le Mans in 54, and as I said, it had fuel difficulties and it had to pit, and it just didn't do very well that race, but it was very good. Then there was a model entered and driven by a couple of guys, Duncan Hamilton and Tony Rolt, and it finished less than a lap down behind the winning Ferrari. It had a maximum speed of 172.8, compared with the Ferrari of 160.1. 3 weeks later, the D-Type won the Reims 12-hour endurance race, so it was a fairly successful car. So why does this version in GT Sport only do 146? In 55, the car was modified, had the nose adjusted and such like, and had a few other improvements, and it was competitive against the Mercedes of Fangio, and it was driven by Mike Hawthorne. He was a great driver. He was Formula 1 champion in 58, so he was really a great driver. But drivers of that day, Formula 1 drivers, would pretty much drive anything. But I'm not going to go into its full history because, let's be honest, we want to drive it. What a beautiful looking car. And we'll let the other one pass us. The interior is fantastic. You can see the rivets. You can see the texture of the aluminium that it was made in. You're seated behind the massive wing behind your head. And its handling within the game, it's pretty good, but it doesn't have the correct top speed, so I don't know why they made it 146. See that big old wing. Topping out about 146. As I said, I'm not sure why this particular model is doing 146, or is it a tribute to the fuel problems that plagued it on its Le Mans debut. Straighten out that big old wing behind. Why I can't keep this car straight is beyond me. The interior is pretty damn good. I know I should have stopped, but hey. I can see the other car in my mirror. These cars sell for millions. There's so few of them. There was a road-going version, believe it or not. There should have been about 25 or 30, I can't remember which, but disaster struck the factory and there was a fire. And basically they lost all the tooling and everything and it was destroyed. What a bummer, eh? By today's standards, this car isn't massively fast, but I think I would have had to have clean underpants if I'd driven this at 172.8 miles an hour. Drives pretty well. Oh, it's got a Pride style pink wiring down there. Look, bright pink. I've got to say this does handle very, very well. Mike Hawthorne, when he was driving it, I bet that boy could really chuck it around. If you get a chance, go and search on YouTube to see a clip of Mike Hawthorne driving. He was a phenomenal driver of his time period, along with the other greats, such as Fangio, he was the daddy, Sterling Moss, and a little bit later, the phenomenal Jim Clark. But we are talking 54 with this car. It was groundbreaking. And if it hadn't had the fuel problems, it may well have won Le Mans on its debut. as I said, it's a shame it doesn't do its 172, this particular version, considering it's the racing one. Try and not scrape the paint. So the speedo's saying about 146 miles an hour. The big old wing at the back there is quite something. The interior of this car is pretty good. I love the bits of old cable. Sometimes they put bits of old stickers and such like that they've scanned in on this one, but this one's, apart from the modern fire extinguisher, it's absolutely great. As for sound, it's a sort of whiny growl. I like something a bit more guttural, you know, really the vibration will get you. But it's still an amazing vehicle. The detail on those rivets is quite amazing. The dials, I don't know, they don't look quite as good as the Aston of that same time period that they put out in the game. I love the long bonnet on this car. Of course I've scratched the paintwork, but it doesn't matter. There's a Le Mans racing car, for Christ's sake. When Jaguar were kings. I think I prefer the 66 variant, 1966 one. The one that was designed for Le Mans and then they changed the rules and it never raced, which is a shame. But this did, it won eventually, and on that note, I'll say goodbye.